Princess Chandrakala was so beautiful that there was no one like her in the 7 islands. Her beauty was such that even the moon would feel shy in front of her. Her features were such that even a deer would fill water in front of her. When Princess Chandrakala walked, even a snake would find its moves futile after seeing her intoxicating walk. Even flowers would feel ashamed in front of the redness of her face. A king named Veer's son ruled over Nandanagar. The king had a son named Sundar. Sundar was very handsome, strong, and intelligent. One day a merchant came to Nandanagar. In the olden days, merchants used to bring one amazing, unique, and rare thing after another to please the kings and emperors. Seeing the merchant coming, Prince Sundar asked, "Tell me, merchant, what new have you brought this time?" The merchant said, "Yes, Lord," and showed a photo to Prince Sundar. That photo was of the world beauty Princess Chandrakala. When the prince saw it, he kept looking at it. He had never seen such a beautiful woman in his life, let alone in his dreams. On seeing the princess's facial features, the prince lost his senses. When his concentration broke, he asked the merchant who was this beautiful lady. Then the merchant told him that, "O prince, there is a city named Kanchampur across the 7 seas where a ruthless king named Indrasen rules, who gives death penalty for even the smallest crimes. This beautiful lady is his daughter, Princess Chandrakala." The prince was happy and gave the merchant many diamonds and jewels as a reward and sent him off, and thought in his mind that till he does not get this lady his life is meaningless. If she is there, then everything is there. If she is not there, then nothing is there. I may have to do anything for her, but now. So, to get Princess Chandrakala is the only aim of my life. He immediately left his royal clothes and wore saffron turban and disguised himself as a sadhu and went towards the forest. When the king got the news of the prince going to the forest, he came to the prince and said, "Son, what is so sad that you have left the royal life and have become a fakir? You are the support of our old age and the future king. Then why this step?" On hearing his father, the prince said, "Father," with folded hands, "I request you to listen to me carefully. Chandrakala is now in my heart. I don't see anything else except her." The king said, "Son, you are wise. Why are you talking like a fool? Till date, whoever has gone to Chandrakala's door has not returned. Who knows how many have lost their lives because of her?" On hearing his father, the prince said, "Father, don't try to stop me now. Now I am not going to stop. If there is life in my body, I am alive, then I will definitely go." Saying this, Prince Sundar was about to leave from there, but his mother came there and said, "My dear son, I will die in agony without you. Don't do this. Why are you going to embrace death, leaving your kingdom?" But even his mother's words had no effect on the prince. He said, "No, mother, don't stop me. If I don't go, then I will give up my life here itself," and he started walking. In his anxiety to see Princess Chandrakala, the prince had just taken a few steps forward when his beautiful wife Kamini also reached there. The queen said a couplet, "Leaving your Kamini near you, leaving all your 16 adornments and going in the middle of the ocean. Where's my husband?" Meaning, despite having such a beautiful wife, why are you leaving me like this? Prince Sundar also said in the form of a couplet, "Queen, have patience. Do not be sad. I will return to you in a few days." Saying this, Prince Sundar left from there. Hearing Sundar's words, the queen fainted and fell on the ground, but Sundar was not affected at all. He broke the prem-nath and left for the forest. Now he was only in love with Princess Chandrakala. After traveling for many days, Prince Sundar reached Kanchampur and sat down in front of the princess's palace. Coincidentally, one day when the princess was standing at the window of the palace, her eyes fell on Sundar, who had become a yogi. Prince Sundar became crazy. He did not know for how many days he was staring at this moment, waiting for this moment. As soon as Princess Chandrakala saw Prince Sundar, she also fell in love with that handsome young man with a strong body and said, "O yogi, who are you, and what was the reason that in your youth you left your country and domestic life, wore this saffron bana, and became a yogi?" Prince Sundar replied to the princess and said, "O beauty of the world, look at me. My love is heavy in my heart. Your beauty is famous everywhere. You know the world. All are in love. You have come from the east. Now my name is a lover, a flower. Your beauty has drawn me here since your name And show me the photo. Further, Prince Sundar says, O Queen of Beauty, ever since I have heard your name, my choice and peace have been taken away. If I don't get you, then my life is useless. Chandrakala, listening to the prince, said, Yogi, seeing your beauty, my heart is also beating for you, but I regret that you may have to lose your life like others. Listening to Princess Chandrakala, Prince Sundar recited a couplet, What has to happen will happen. I don't care about it, my love. Because of you I have left my kingdom and country, that is, now whatever happens will be seen. For you I have left my kingdom, education, and country. Chandrakala, listening to Prince Sundar, said, Hey Yogi, your life is also in danger in my love, because whoever loves me, my father gets him killed or imprisons him forever. Even now many people are rotting in his captivity, so it is better that you go back to your country and do not lose your life by getting trapped in my love. On hearing this, Shyam Sundar replied, Your love brought me here, you tell me where should I go? I do not bring this fear in my heart, I cannot go without taking you. Shyam Sundar of the couplet said, O princess, look at my problem carefully, for the sake of your love I have reached you in a ruined condition fighting with the difficulties. Hearing this, Chandrakala threw a rope from a window, climbing on which the happy Prince Sundar entered the palace of the princess. He was feeling proud of his luck. As soon as she came over the prince, Chandrakala put her arms around his neck and said, O handsome young man, I don't know how many lovers have come to me before you and fell prey to my father's punishment, how many were killed, how many are locked up in jails, but I don't know why I never had feelings for anyone, nor did my heart melt on their punishment. But you are something else, you are different from all of them, you made me fall in love at first sight. Prince Sundar was overwhelmed to hear so much praise from Princess Chandrakala's mouth. He could not believe his luck that Princess Chandrakala, he will get her so easily. Their love started growing. Now Prince Sundar would come to Princess Chandrakala every night, and when morning would be near, he would come down using a rope and quietly leave the palace. Everything went well for a few days. Both would meet at night and make love. Many days passed by enjoying themselves. But then one day when Prince Sundar was going back in the last hour of the night, the police chief saw him and asked, Who are you who is coming from the princess palace at midnight? What have you stolen? Prince Sundar apologized and said, No, police chief, I am not a thief. But the police chief was not affected by his words and immediately called the soldiers and got him arrested. And said, Take this rogue away, he has troubled all the subjects. When morning came, Prince Sundar was presented in the royal court in front of the king. The police chief said to the king, Maharaj, he is a big thief. He had gone to the palace to steal at night. When he was going down, I caught him. The king praised the police inspector and then ordered the soldiers to take this rogue and lock him up in the darkest room, and instead of food, he should be given 50 lashes every morning and evening. On hearing the king's order, the soldiers immediately arrested Prince Sundar. When Chandrakala came to know that her lover has been imprisoned by the king and the king has ordered a strict punishment, she fell unconscious. When Princess Chandrakala regained consciousness, she started crying and said that my wicked and cruel father has imprisoned my beloved who is dearer to me than my life. I cannot live this dull life without my beloved. I will jump into the fire and give up my life. When the maid heard this from Princess Chandrakala, she got scared and asked her to be patient. Then Chandrakala said, Oh friend, how can I be patient? I don't like anything without my beloved. In this way, Chandrakala always kept crying in the separation of Prince Shyam Sundar. Now I end the story here and tell you about the first wife of Prince Shyam Sundar. Rani was very restless in the separation of her husband and was spending every day waiting for Prince Sundar. One day, Rani was sleeping in her sari and suddenly she saw a dream that a child is telling Rani that Rani, your husband Shyam Sundar has been imprisoned in Kanchampur. Seeing this dream, Rani got startled and sat up and started crying loudly in a state of panic. What has happened? Hearing the sound of crying, the maid came running and asked what happened. Maharani, why are you crying so loudly? What is your problem? Rani said nervously, I was sleeping when a child called out and said that you were sleeping here. There your husband has been imprisoned in Kanchampur, O maid, he had gone promising to come soon but he has not returned yet. It seems that he has definitely fallen into some trouble and he has been arrested and is spending a very difficult time in the custody of the king of Kanchamper. Now I have to do something to help my husband. I will go to Kanchamper myself as a Jogin. Hearing this, the queen's maid said, Maharani, why are you ruining yourself by crying day and night? You have just seen a bad dream. Your husband is well and will soon return to you safely. The queen said, No maid, that dream is absolutely true. My heart is telling me that I will definitely go to search for my husband Parmeshwar. Take good care of my parents after I leave. Saying this, the queen started preparing to go to Kanchamper. The queen took off her clothes, took off all her makeup and jewelry along with the royal clothes, wore saffron clothes and came in the disguise of a Jogin. Then, with a veena in her hand, she headed towards the forest. The queen went out in search of her husband for many days. Searching the cities and forests, she reached Kanchamper. Going there, she asked people about her husband's condition and they told her that the king had imprisoned him for the crime of stealing. Hearing this, the queen became very nervous and started thinking about what measures should be taken so that Prananath could be freed. After thinking for a while, when the queen asked the people there about the king's hobbies, people told her that the king was very fond of listening to music. Hearing this, the queen's mind was pacified because she was adept in singing. Now the queen started singing at the main places of the city. Within a few days, she became famous. One day in the evening, she stood in a garden with a veena in her hand and started singing a Rajini. The crowd present there praised the queen who had become a Jogin. Wherever Chalgan went, a crowd of people gathered because of her sweet voice and beautiful poetry. People never got tired of praising her singing skills. The praise of the Jogin reached the king's ears as well. The king immediately ordered the Chowdar to respectfully bring the Jogin who was staying in the city garden to our gathering. The Chowdar immediately went to the queen who had become a Jogin and said with folded hands, Hey Jogin, the king has called you. Please come with me to the royal court. The queen said, Hey Chowdar, what do we have to do with the king's court? We are carefree. We gather wherever we want. The place where we sit, that place seems like the royal court to us. On hearing the Jogin's words, the Chowdar said, Jogin ji, you have such knowledge that lakhs of kings stand in your service, but still it is your duty to make the person who wants to hear Hari Gun from you listen to it. The queen wanted this was her plan from the beginning, so the Jogin agreed to go. When the queen went to the king's palace with the Chowdar, everyone stood up in respect to see her. As soon as she entered the court, there was silence. The servants gave her a deer skin, then the king folded his hands and said, Hey Jogini, who are you? And where have you come from? Then the Jogini said, We live in the land of mountains and gems and live a simple life by chanting the name of Om day and night. We find happiness in that. The king said, Okay Jogini. Do some praise of Hari with your mouth, this is the desire of all of us. Then the Jogin sang this rag, This pace which I like, I have left behind the wealth, treasures, diamonds and pearls, I have thrown away the shawls and dupatas, I have taken my heart away from the world, leaving the forest in the trap of love, I have made the whole lover. I have left all patience and religion, when I have found the fun of being a beggar, my heart now lives in the jungle, I am scared of the village. I want to fill my size by making the wheel fall, rut and wall. Now I have played this game of love, day and night. On hearing this Rajini of the queen who became a Jogin, the entire assembly resounded with applause, even the king. Leaving his seat and standing, he honored this amazing Rajini of the queen with his applause. Seeing the happiness of the king, the queen feels that her purpose is getting accomplished. The king is happy to hear the Jogin's raga and says to the Jogin,